I thank God for you tuning in on today. I just want to encourage the leader within you. I believe that everyone, no matter what station of life, has a leadership capabilities, and sometimes we just undervalue that and undercut ourselves. And I want to stir up that gift within you. So I want to read this parable. It's a story that I want to outline because it kind of pushes the envelope as far as things that are hindering us from the values and the value streams of our life. So I want to just challenge and charge you with this on today. As we're looking at this 7 minutes to win. It's not going to be long. Let me read it to you, and then we'll talk a little bit about it. All right, here it is. It's also like a man, talking about this story of investment is what it's about. This man is about to make this investment, or this master is about to make investment in 3 persons, and he gives each of these persons different investments. And as he gives different investments, he's expecting something back, because ultimately when you make an investment, you expect a return. All right, so here it is. It's also like a man going off for an extended trip. He called to his servants and he says, listen, I'm delegating some responsibilities to you. To the one, he gave $5,000, to another $2,000, and to the other one, he gave $1,000 according to their abilities. This is what the first man did. The first servant went off and immediately doubled what his master gave to him. The second one did the same, but the man with the single thousand dug a hole and he carefully buried his master's money. Let's figure out why. After a long absence, the master's returned, and ultimately, if you're like this master and you give people money, you want some extra money back, because that's the investment scheme. If you put something into something, you want a return. And so ultimately, this is what happens after the 3. The one he gave the $5,000 showed him how he doubled it. The master commended him. He said, good work. You did a job well done. Now you can be a part of my business. The second servant that he gave to $2,000 showed that he had doubled his master's investment as well. He said, listen, you've done a great job. You can now enter into partnership with me. But then the servant that he gave the $1,000 to said, master, I knew that you had high standards. And you hate careless ways, that you demand the best and make no allowances for error. Here is the clincher. He says, I was afraid that I might disappoint you, so I found a good hiding place and secured your money. And here it is, safe and sound to the last cent. Now, any of us would say in here that was a job well done, that the last servant was just being cautious. But here is the linchpin to this encouragement today. Look how meticulous this last servant is. It's almost like he's fighting against himself. He's looking for a reason for why he can be safe in being where he was. And ultimately, some of us are looking at the values and our value stream is saying, hey, I can go forward and I can grow forward. But why? Because it might offend someone else. This might not fit into other people's scheme or their plan of action. And this is a terrible way to live, because ultimately you've been given the investment of life. And the investment of life means that you ought to return something greater than how you came here. Now, all of us can come out of the womb one way, right? But I believe that we should grow forth and go forth into a higher level and come forth even more voluminous in how we come forth victorious. We should be able to win and show how we've won because of the one we live for. Now, from my standpoint, being a Christian and walking in that way, that is who I walk in the pathway for. Maybe you have good and positive influencers who are around you that you're saying, hey, I want to do this for them. I say to you that you should do this because it's the right thing to do. I say to you that because you've been given life, now you've been given an investment whereby you ought to not live so meticulously so you can be comfortable to be able to return what is the status quo. And that's not what we should be living for. We shouldn't be living for comfort. We shouldn't be living for things just to stay the same or just to maintain. The problem was that fear entered into this last servant scenario, and he got comfortable facing his fears as opposed to being in faith and moving forward. And I want to share that with you today, that maybe you should thrust forward. Maybe you shouldn't hold yourself down by causing scenarios and creating scenarios that just allow you to be cautious and, quite frankly, just more callous in your stance. What I'm saying to you is you've got to move beyond the level of just making concerns and concerning statements and being more creative. Now, it's one thing for us to sit here and say, I see how the world is, or I see how this person may be, and these situations aren't going to work out. It's okay to count the cost. But at the end of the day, we have an investment, and our sure investment should be that we should come back with more than we were given. That's the announcement of this parable and this story. And that's what I'm announcing to you, that there's a challenge and a charge in this day and in this week that has been given to you. And you can't just go through the week and say, I'm getting to Friday, or I'm getting to the weekend, or I'm getting to my day off. You've got to walk through this and saying, I'm setting some growth patterns here, and I'm going to come out of this week better than I entered in. This is my investment. These are my children. This is my family. This is how I'm living. This is my health. This is my financial stability. But now it's given one way, but it doesn't have to remain the same. I'm going to flip this and move it forward. And if that's what anything you hear me say today, please hear this again. You've got to flip it and make it move forward, because you've been given an investment and it's within your hand. Now listen to what the master said. He said he was furious. He says that's a terrible way to live. It's criminal to live cautiously like that. What I'm telling you is this is an indictment for all of us who are just trying to maintain and stay safe. That's not the call for today. As we look at our environment all around us, this is not the cause just to stay safe and sound in our homes. Yes, we need to be safe. We need to be sound. But it's also a sacred charge for us to be successful. And we'll talk a little bit about that more as we have time together. But this is your charge right here. Don't live criminally, just trying to be safe. Don't live cautiously, trying to live for others, but live in a mandated way to say, you know what, I've been given one thing, but I'm going to flip it and we're going to make it even better.